Welcome to the Motivation Without the Hype podcast with your host, Jez Perez. He's an author, high-performance coach, and motivational speaker. This show brings you inspiring messages and interviews to unleash your greatness in life and in business. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, welcome to Motivation Without the Hype podcast show. My name is Jez Perez, a former procrastinator into an action taker. We bring you inspirational messages and interviews, including motivational insights, tips, principles, and proven strategies that you can take action without the hype in unleashing your greatness in life and in business. We appreciate you plugging in and spending time with us, and we have a very special guest. And I'm super grateful to have him on our show. His name is Lucas Nicotra. He is the founder and director of Sticks Production. His company works with business leaders to create video strategies tailored to take their business to the next level. He has helped many businesses in branding themselves through video, growing their audience, and increasing their sales. Sticks has worked with companies such as BNI Gloabl, Event Cinemas, Pizza Hut, and many high-impact small businesses. In his spare time, Lucas enjoys making narrative short films. He has made a total of 15 short films, with one recently hitting 1.8 million views on YouTube. Take note, 1.8 million. His goal is to make movies that reach the world, with his first feature film in the works. Lucas, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Jez. I'm keen to get chatting.
Yeah. So guys, I've known Lucas for quite some time now. He's a person of purpose, great human being, really lovely guy, very humble, full of creativity, and very strategic at the same time, and with his videos and what he does. So, Lucas, tell us about yourself and what you do.
For sure. So pretty much I run a company called Sticks Productions, and we create video strategies to help businesses grow. And we also make our own films and content for YouTube. And I started as a wedding filmmaker when I was 14 years old. Right now I'm 25. And pretty much when I first started making videos, I was, doing videos for church, just finding any place where I could make videos. And I started freelancing to make some money off it. Then fast forward to I finished high school and went to film school for a year and learned a lot there. But after film school, I actually got the opportunity to work on a TV show that airs on Foxtel. So it's actually my church has a TV show that airs on Foxtel, and I got to lead a small team who produces a 30-minute program straight out of film school. So I was pumped about that. And that's where we started making short films regularly, and we made that film that hit 1.8 million, which we were super pumped about. Since then, pretty much I realized that, I had this vision to build a company or a brand that reached the world, and I wanted to make movies and TV shows and, make worldwide impact. So I knew that meant creating a business. So then I looked into how to actually use my skills of, filmmaking, storytelling to grow businesses. And that's when I started on this journey to actually find strategies that work for businesses. Been working with businesses ever since then. So just keen to keep growing and keen to keep making more impact.
That's awesome. It's really inspirational to hear that, you started at 14 years of age, very young, and at that age, how did you really find your purpose and really turn that into passion that later in life turned that into a solidified business? Can you just share your journey just a little bit for us?
Yeah. So for me, I knew at a young age the stuff that I like to do. I knew that I wanted to, in the future, have a job that I loved and make sure I was doing my passion. I was a sports kid, and then I found myself always wanting to do creative stuff. I was drawing, I was making videos with my friends, with my cousins, and I knew that I had a creative edge to myself. But when it comes to my purpose and my vision, for me, that comes from God. That comes from my relationship with God and what He has planned for my life. So I know for a fact like what God's made me on earth to do. So from a young age, I knew that, and I just went after it. It's pretty straightforward when you know what your life purpose is, and you just, you know that you know, so then you just go after it. So that's why I was at a young age, just wanting to make this business and do my passion in that sense.
How did you keep on going? Because, I always say this all the time, challenges are inevitable in business. How did you rise to the top and still continue on? Were you driven by purpose? Were you driven with something that, this is more than just money? It's something that I'm really aligned and called to. Would that be the case?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's two sides to it. There's the vision, which is like I need to get to the place where I'm making a big impact. I just have that in me, and I know that that's my purpose. But also the stuff that I love to do day to day, I just can't get away from creating stories, working on business, working on brands, and these things that I wake up every day wanting to do keep me motivated and keep me going after. Like I'm only young and I've got a long way to go, but I have seen myself since my business started in 2017 for the last 4 and a bit years. I keep on, wanting to build my business because I actually love what I do. So for me, it's a passion thing. There's this phrase that passionate people play, meaning, I'm not working hard like I am, but it seems like I'm working hard, but I'm just enjoying the hustle and the creating of content and working with businesses and stuff like that.
How are you able to continue to stay at edge where you're constantly being more creative? Because businesses evolve, they change. How did you able to keep up with the trends and constantly evolve yourself as well?
So for me, it's a lot of like what the content I consume. So I'm looking at other brands and seeing which companies I want to be like, and the people that put out content on that, I'm just consuming it. I'm trying to understand how they get to where they are. I'm always looking at another way to grow myself or the business. And when I look at these companies, it motivates me and it makes me want to adopt new practices. But I don't want to just, I like to keep things simple. I don't want to overcomplicate my business or what I do, because I know if you're focused on one thing or a few, focused areas, that's when you really will see growth. So I try not to just add anything for the sake of it. But if I see someone that I want to kind of emulate, or where I see myself in 5 years, those are the practices I need to learn that. I need to know how to do this or do that. So I just put it into practice and I take risks. If I learn something, usually that week I'm going to throw myself into that arena. So I just keep that going.
That's awesome, because not many people are willing to go to that arena. People are still held back with fears, but you're able to say, no, I'm going to try this out. Whether it works or not, I'm still going to go for it. And I think that's really powerful to hear that. And you pivoted as well from weddings and then you move into businesses. Yep. How did you find your niche? Because I know that a lot of listeners here, and they're in businesses or they're solopreneurs or entrepreneurs, and they're still finding their feet in terms of really honing in what they're really good at. And secondly is, yep, this is my niche. I'm going to attack it. I'm going to go for it. How did you find yours?
Okay, so it's a combination of a few things. I started in weddings because it was thrown upon me. It was kind of people around me, friends, family, church members would just be like, hey, we need you to shoot our wedding. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's awesome. As a 14-year-old, I'm like, they're giving me $200 to shoot a wedding. I was like, oh, this is amazing. But so then when I started getting towards, starting a company, I knew that I needed to focus on one specific area, at least to start. So that's my niche. And I was looking at what's the highest impact thing I can give to someone with my skill set. And then I was looking around, where does that work? Because I could do, music videos, weddings. I can do promo videos. I could try and get straight into the film industry, be a cinematographer. But when I looked at businesses, and I realized how much that the value there, the lever that I can pull is massive. And I was like, I want to do that because I know I can make a lot of money from that because I can make other people a lot of money. So if I learned the right skills, and then I just kind of pivoted towards that and went all in. So I still do weddings and I still do other things, but when it comes to this new area, I just doubled down on it.
That's powerful. So I know videos. My question is to you is, it's great that you find where you are and you're focusing on that, which is fantastic. And you being in that type of industry, why is video so important to businesses? Do you see a trend still on the rise that it's really important, or you see a decline?
Well, definitely it's on the rise. It's been on the rise for a while. Like businesses have really utilized the online space and video being the dominant thing on the online space for a while now. It's not like a new thing, but there are trends to show that things are still going more towards video. Like there's statistics to talk about how most of the content online, like 80% or something like that, I need to get the proper stats, is video now. There's 2.3 billion people on YouTube watching YouTube regularly. And the head of Instagram just, I don't know if you heard, announced that Instagram's no longer a photo sharing site. It's a video first platform. And these are the like even TikTok taking off. These are all the directions that everything's going towards. If we're not, utilizing video, we're actually way behind. So it's definitely increasing.
So to those who are maybe kind of noobs in videos in terms of which platforms, do you find, is YouTube still the go-to, or is it now the TikTok? Is it the Instagram? Or do you need to be flexible and tap into different platforms and sharing that type of content that you have?
I think it depends on your business, so like the industry you're in.
That's good.
But it also depends on the type of content that you can give value. So
love that.
If you can do all of them, go for it. But most of us need to start with one or two.
Okay.
So YouTube's awesome for building a community around giving like educational advice, because you can actually on YouTube you can rank your videos, like get it seen by giving education, and then people start to find your business because of that value. Whereas if you go to like something like LinkedIn, which is really booming right now as well, you can also give advice, but it has to be like short snippets that are starting conversations, and it's less how-to, but it's more like motivational or just ideas going out. And TikTok as well. Like I've jumped on TikTok, but only through like a personal account, because it's full of humor. It's full of like, you got to be able to connect with the younger, demographic. So it depends what business. If you've got a business that's like, only old people, then I would focus more on LinkedIn. But if you've got a business that's all the young guys, go straight to TikTok, because you can just take off there. So there's a few factors to take into play, but a good way to start like learning how to just put out content and give value is YouTube, because that discipline of like creating weekly videos to build your story, build your brand, learn how to speak on camera, learn how to give value is a really good like platform for it.
Love that. I love that. And that's really key. So, with every businesses, I know that you're the storytelling king. Really good what you you're like, whatever, Jazz. But honest truth, every business has a story to tell. Why do we need to share our story, particularly on videos? Can't we do that on, blog posts, or can we do that in a static website? Why do we need to share it on video? And, how does that convert into leads and clients or even customers?
Great question. So the thing is, first of all, let's talk about why storytelling is important. So Seth Godin puts it like this. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a kid with a lemonade stand, and then next to it you see a lemonade vending machine. You're going to go for the kid with the lemonade stand because story is the difference. Like the reason why you're buying has got more to do with the story behind that business. So we buy because of emotion. And when we get to see someone's story is their brand. It's the thing that makes them unique, separates them. So if we're telling our story, it gives people a reason to see why we're different, see why we would choose that. And it connects with people on an emotional level and pulls them in. So why video? Like you can tell stories in a whole different way, like a whole bunch of different ways. And you should probably tell stories in whatever way is most comfortable to you. Like I know Seth Godin as well. He only stuck to writing a blog, and he didn't move for a long time. He was just doing, his blog, and it took off for him. But with everything like going towards video and people wanting to see more content, see more video, it's because it's like the closest thing to reality. Like even us talking right now, like you get to see someone, you get to see their mannerisms, you get to trust someone. Like video builds trust. It's the most like rapid way for someone to be brought in to your world. And then not to mention, video is like everything combined. You can have text, you have images, you have music, you have visuals, and you tell a story in such a powerful way. That's why movies are the ultimate storytelling device. That's why people go to the cinema and they just feel like they're in another world. So if we have that power now, everyone's got, an iPhone, and we can make videos on whatever scale it is. Like it's the easiest way to really pull someone in fast. And it's also, depending on how you make it, if you go live, you jump on like an Instagram live or Facebook live, you're actually, making content really quick. So there's a lot of reasons why video is super important.
And with the stories that you share, like how does that convert into leads? How does your story through video storytelling can really lead to new leads, can have, acquire more clients or even convert to customers? How does that play into effect?
Okay, so that's where you need to think about strategy, because people make videos all the time and you might spend a lot of money on a video that looks amazing and it does nothing for you, or it does like very minimal amount. So what I do is you have to focus on who the video is for, like who's your target audience and what's their pain point. And if you can connect emotionally to their pain point and tell that story, then they're going to want to hear how you can help them. But if you're just going on video and just promoting yourself, telling people what you're doing, and telling people your history story, like people don't really care about you yet until you've connected with their pain point, until you've shown them why they should care. So that's one way. But then the other thing is this thing called defense and offense content. So offense content is what most people think of when they're going to go make a video. They think, I want to put out a video to reach someone and pull them in. So offense is for people that don't know you, that are doing their thing, and you're going out to get them. But defense is when people have seen something from you, they want to know more, and they're coming to learn and educate themselves about you. So we need to have both. We need to have that 1-2 punch where you're giving value, you're attracting and hooking people in, and then you have defense content where they come, say, to your website or something, and they see everything they need to know about you to want to trust and buy. So when you're doing that, you're giving out value regularly. People are going to want to subscribe. People are going to want to see your content. And then as you build trust, when anyone in that community wants to use your service, they're going to come to you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And we've seen that with the people that we worked with. There was one example of a business coach that we did a video for, and he posted this thing called a video business card that we made for him on LinkedIn, and he got 5,000 views as soon as he dropped it, and then he had 5 inquiries come in that week and locked in 3 of them, and these are like long-term 6-month clients. So he the return on investment was way more than what he spent on the video. So these are the kinds of strategies you need to be thinking about, especially if you're hiring someone to make a video and they don't even know what strategy to use. That's when you have to be careful and not just go with any any person.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people want to do a DIY to do it your own.
Yeah.
However, you're probably missing the element of a SME, which is the subject matter expert who actually are in the industry, who are experts and strategists in this. How important is to have one, right beside you in your corner, right? You're probably boxing your way through it, but then you've got a coach right behind the corner guiding you through it. How important is that going through this journey? Because, there are people who've had short successes or short burst of successes, but not the success that they really intended to have. Like your example with the business coach who put a business, video card. However, there was a lot of elements and strategies behind that. How important is to have someone beside you to work through the process through this?
So it depends on how fast you want to see results. So if you're looking at someone else who's getting results, there's always a method to the madness. And if you want to shorten your learning curve and get there quicker, that's when you bring on a mentor or subject matter expert to help. But there's always room for you to do your own DIY stuff and learn yourself and, go on that journey, make those mistakes. But I think the reason why we want to, have a mentor come in and help is to get there quicker and to get there faster. And you don't have to go through all the mistakes that they went through to see results. So it just depends on where you're at. If you can't afford to hire these people, then you should still be able to go and do, make content, tell stories. There's nothing stopping you from that. But if you're ready to, roll, if you're ready to explode, that's when you need to get someone on board.
That's powerful. Can I just ask just two things while we're in this context?
Yeah.
So, for someone who's new, what are the first steps that they need to do in terms of video? And then the second part I want you to share is, those who are actually seasoned business owners and entrepreneurs but want to level up. So the first part is what are the steps for them to get started? Those who are kind of noobs, and then the second part is those who are seasoned but want to level up right now.
When you say seasoned, do you mean seasoned in video? Like they've been doing video themselves?
They've been doing the video themselves, been in the business, entrepreneurship for quite some time, but they're making the decision, I want to take to that next level. What do I need to do now?
Okay, so for starting out, the first thing you need as a company, even before you have a website, which is crazy, you should have a video business card. So this is the story of your business in a 2 to 3 minute video that takes people from what they care about, their pain point, and pulls them in and shows them how your business helps. And that's that whole 360 view of your business. So that's the first thing you need to get. But if you're creating yourself, that's something you should definitely bring someone on for. But you can start putting out content, videos, pick a platform, maybe start with YouTube or LinkedIn, and set up a little, nook in your house, or if you have a studio, if you have an office, have a little camera set up. If you use your iPhone, use your iPhone, but learn how to just start making content and think about who is your target audience, who's your client, and what do they care about? Can you give them some value? And if you can, put in a practice of doing one video a week, and super simple, minimal editing, sometimes no editing. You can even go live and do it just so there's no editing. But if you're getting in front of the camera, that's the first place to start. And you'll start to see results, and the videos will get better, and you'll start to see how you can then level up. So then when it comes to someone who's been doing this, they've got a bit of budget behind them and they're ready to go hard. That's when you really it's very specific to each business. So I would usually chat to a business owner and talk about what their specific goals are, what kind of videos we can make around that, and give them a strategy for their growth. So if you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk. But I think the main thing is that's when you need to bring on the mentor. You can't just do it all yourself. If you want to go big, that's when you need to, or watch content on how to actually grow your business with storytelling. So then you can go to the next level. Yeah,
and that's powerful, because all these elements that you've talking about is setting up to all these questions I've been asking, and you've hit the nail in the coffin. And it's really important to invest. It's like learning, right? You know, the greatest investment is personal development. If you want to level up in your personal life or in your business, or how to perform at a high level or become an industry leader, there's a lot of investment into that, and to invest to learn, to invest into your business, and it's really important. You know, the return investment is quite high on this. So there's really a difference, isn't it, between do it your own versus investing into your own business. And what have you seen when you work with clients who have gone through the process of, say, getting sticks production and helping their business? Do you go through a process and then you execute from them, just in case, where people are kind of thinking, well, how do I get started? What's the process?
Yeah, so we usually do a deep dive into your business, because like we make videos, but we're pretty much coming in as a business advisor, like trying to give you strategies that will work. So we need to learn who your target market is. We come up with the stories to reach them. We come up with the weekly or monthly content that you should be putting out, and then we go and produce that. So it always starts with that conversation about, you know, what are your goals? What's stopping you from reaching that goal? And then we implement a video to fix that. So everything should have a tangible result, like it's all result orientated. The one of the biggest misconceptions is like, oh yeah, we'll go to video for the creative stuff. Like, and a lot of videographers have been, I mean, that's the stigma. It's video people are the creatives, and they don't really know the business side. They don't really know how to come up with these business solutions. But what we want to do is try and help with both. We got the business solutions that make it logical and make it make sense, and then we add the creative on top. You can't have one or the other.
Yeah.
So
that's powerful.
That's where it starts.
You know, because a lot of people put content and it could be very creative. However, there's no intention of, you know, what's the intention of this video? What is the intention of, you know, of my goals? You know, because it has to be an outcome. If there's no tangible, you know, results or even an outcome, then it's just a video that you're not going to get any traction. You're not going to get that lead that you're intending to have. And that's really important, right? So for any business owner or entrepreneur who are still in that mind block where they're, you know, held with fear, you know, have you seen your previous clients or your current clients who have this certain fear, and how do they overcome it when it comes to videos? Because sometimes it could be a big thing for them, you know, like they'll just rely on their own traditional marketing, you know, tactics and strategies. But you said earlier on in a podcast show that, you know, videos are still trending, you know, it's still on the rise. How can someone come over the hump and say, you know what, I'm going to go for it, but I'm held with this. How do I overcome this thing that I'm actually facing right now?
I think there's fear to try something new, but whenever you're innovating, you have to do something new. And video especially is going to be a vulnerable thing. It's going to be where you have to open up, you have to tell stories, you have to bring people along on the journey. Sometimes you have to jump in front of the camera. It's very vulnerable. But nothing ever comes from just like hiding yourself and keep doing the same thing over and over. You know, if you want to take a step out of your comfort zone, then you're going to start to see results. So usually when I'm, you know, meeting with someone or when I'm shooting a video, there's lots of fear around just sitting in front of the camera. But like we get to help people with that. We get to make it fun and easy, help them share their story. But it all comes down to, are you ready to like take a step outside of the comfort zone and actually do something different? Because TikTok is different. And, you know, putting out regular content is not what everyone is thinking about doing. But like even starting a podcast show, like sometimes we think people out there, they're the ones that are doing these, you know, content creation stuff. But really every business has the opportunity to do content creation and give value and put, you know, ideas and thoughts into a space to bring in new clients. So it's just about having an innovative mindset and being like, all right, I think we should do this new thing. Let's take a risk. Let's try it out. A calculated risk, but it's still a risk. So you got to be brave.
Awesome. I know I get questions a lot in terms of video marketing, etc. how many times that you need to post videos, whether it's a chosen platform. Is it once a week? Is it, twice a week? A lot of people have misconceptions and ideas about, oh, you should post every day, or you should do this, you should do that. But from a Lucas Nicotra's perspective, what would that be?
So, if you look at my content, like what I'm doing at the moment, my minimum is once a week, and I need to be, at least doing that for YouTube. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll create content around, so like I'll repurpose content. So if I'm doing a podcast video or something long form, I have my editors who will chop that up and repurpose the content so we can post more regularly, but it's still minimal effort. But then there's also, for my one of my YouTube channels that I do filmmaking tips and stuff like that, you really don't want to just be pumping out content and not focusing on the quality of it, not giving time for, actually making it, you'll grow the most and you'll reach the most people when your content is actually thought out, when it's creative, when you've put time into it. So that's why it's you don't have to do every day. Like you don't have to post multiple times a day. You can still sustain people's commitment if you're doing a weekly upload. But the more times you post and that you can sustain is better.
Powerful.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
Again, nail in the coffin. It's all about the quality, because I've seen so many videos.
Yes.
It's great content, but the quality is pretty bad. And I think if you're in the eyes of the beholder who's from the other end, it's like great content, but I really need to fix the quality. And I think quality speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I've seen your work. I'm a fan of your work as well, Lucas. Your quality is
Thank you.
10 out of 10. So guys, really need to get in touch with Lucas. So Lucas, I say this question to every guest that's on the show. What is your meaning of motivation without the hype? And how do you use motivation for your personal success?
So motivation without the hype. So when I've seen your podcast around and I've thought about what that means, I think so many people can be not genuine, can be just faking it till you make it, and you can smell that a mile away. You can tell when people are adding hype, adding exaggerating who they are, and people don't connect with that. Authenticity is super important. So when you find someone who's authentically motivated, you're drawn to them, and you want real motivation as well. Because what that is, it's in the times when people don't see you, when you're waking up in the morning, going to sleep, you're not in front of people. Are you still motivated then? And I think to really get that, for me, it comes from, again, my relationship with God. It comes from my family and friends. It comes from the vision that I want to see happen. And I try and keep that at the forefront, but it's not hard because it's my passion. It's what I'm excited about. So if you're not motivated about what you're doing, you might need to pivot into your passion, or you just need to see what your purpose in life is. Because if you're doing something that's really meaningful and making an impact, that's where true motivation comes, in my opinion.
Meaning and impact. That's two power words right there when it comes to motivation. If you want to be motivated, it needs to bring you meaning, fulfillment, and impact. Because in business or in a career as well, you're adding value in the lives of others. And if it doesn't really put that fire in your belly, don't do it. But if it does, turn into that, because that's going to keep you, motivated without the hype, because you're driven with a different type of gear. It's a different type of passion that fuels your purpose. Oh man, this is awesome. So
That's awesome.
Lucas, thank you so much. And guys, you got to listen to this episode again and again if you want to get key insights, because there's a lot of golden nuggets just in this segment alone. If you want to get in touch with Lucas, there are a lot of information there. We've got all the links on the provided show notes, so you can connect with him. You can have a strategy call with him as well. He's happy to add value into your life and have a chat with you. So please do get in touch with him. Lucas is awesome. He's a great guy. I know him personally as well. So all the links are on the provided show notes. So, if this episode has been helpful and uplifting, we would love for you to write a review to inspire more listeners to get plugged in. We will continue to provide high-value content in each of every episode. If you don't mind sharing this podcast show on social media by inviting others, it would mean the world to me. Every time you tag me, we will get the opportunity to share those posts, and together, I say it again, together, we can make a difference in the lives of others through inspiration episodes just like this. So there you have it. In closing, continue to unleash your greatness and tell yourself that I can, I will, and I must, and we'll see you on the next episode.